Okay, this is part 6 of stress and human health. So why do some people spiral downwards into health hell? And the thing is, you have to calibrate. You have to kind of know where you're at. Am I getting better? Am I getting worse? If you're getting better, you tend to keep getting better. If you're getting worse, you'll have a tendency to keep getting worse. If you're in a stagnation pattern, you have to ask yourself, is that acceptable to you? So what I'm basically saying here is that look at what's happening to yourself. What a lot of people do is they're sleep deprived, then because they're tired, because they're sleep deprived, they drink some caffeine, which you might need if you have to drive home and you're tired. But you drink the caffeine, then you become more sleep deprived, and you kind of get a vicious cycle going, and you're stressed out. So a lot of times what I find is if things are not going well, you need to just really simplify your life so that you can just keep things under control. Don't watch stressful videos on YouTube. Avoid annoying, stressful people. Just kind of sort of retreat into your little turtle shell until you figure out what else it is that you need to do. Simplify your life. Get off the caffeine, no alcohol, no BS. Get all the BS out of your life to the extent you can. And then you can recover and be more resilient. Because, in life, you keep trying to climb up the stairway and you get knocked down, climb up, 2 steps up, 1 step back, 2 steps up, 1 step back. That's inevitable. But I know from a lot of experience, like I've faced many difficult things in my life, and what has helped me is I just keep it real simple. Like I said, I was so simple, people couldn't even believe how simple I was. When there was sort of a crisis time about 5 years ago, I had no email, I had no cell phone. I knew I had a bunch of books in my mind that I wanted to get written. The only way I could write them was if I totally didn't do anything else. So that's what I would do. Anyways, that's part of healing, is you get all the BS out of your life. Like if I was diagnosed with cancer or something, all the BS out of my life. Just go with the positive things, the things that build you up. Okay, what about dietary stressors? Well, we talked about it. You eat meat, like red meat especially. It's going to have a lot of iron in it. So typical guy becomes iron overload in his 20s, typical woman in her late 50s because she's done menstruating and whatnot. But, they add iron to all these processed foods. A lot of them are fortified with iron. So you're getting a lot of iron, and then the meat has the heme iron that's absorbed about 5 times as much as the plant iron. That leads you to become an iron overload if you're eating a lot of that stuff. And then the iron can increase your rate of oxidative stress, ferrous redox cycling, and that'll cause amyloid clotting in the blood, and that makes you more prothrombotic. That can get you into problems. So that's a dietary stressor. High-fat diets causing diabetes, causing hypertension. They're, in a sense, contributing to this overall bodily stress, metabolic stress, okay? Here's glutamate. All the body cares about is glutamate, the excitatory neurotransmitter. And the companies used to put lots of MSG in there. They learned that from the Japanese. And the point is the companies realized people don't like seeing MSG on the wrapper. They had these ways to hide it with other names, and now even that, people don't like it. So now they sometimes will put in there what you call MFG, manufactured free glutamate. They just take a protein, and glutamate's an amino acid residue. It's an amino acid neurotransmitter. And they just process it to break it up into pieces. The G's are the individual glutamates. A protein's like a string of amino acids, like a necklace. And so anyways, you break up the individual amino acids. Now you have free glutamate amino acids. That's free glutamate, manufactured free glutamate, MFG. And our bodies sense that as tasting good, our tongue and our digestive pathway, esophagus and whatnot, and stomach and small bowel. So you don't want to eat processed food. I recommend not one bite of that crap. Okay, and you can get away with it when you're 20 years old. You can get away with a lot of stuff, but you get older, you become more fragile, and unless you keep improving your habits, you're going to be another one of these fat, sick, and stupid people. You don't want that to happen. So no processed food is a smart move, and you can even get a vicious cycle whereby MSG causes increased cortisol release. Increased cortisol release releases increased brain glutamate, and then that sort of pushes you all this stuff towards insomnia, anxiety, obesity, diabetes, hypertension, etc., and loss of muscle. You get muscle atrophy with chronic elevated cortisol and chronic psychological stress. So you want to break this cycle. Stop with the caffeine. Stop with the MSG. No processed food. No caffeinated beverages. Okay. Simplify your life. Avoid the blue light at night. Whatever else you need to do to get your sleeping improved. And so you break these cycles. And so you stop spiraling down into the gutter, because a lot of people, they destroy themselves with self-destructive behavior, bad habits, alcohol, tobacco, processed food, and, they really deteriorate. A person with good habits can preserve themselves quite a long time and increase their functional level quite a bit. Okay, let's see. Yeah, and then I would I would sometimes have all these debates when I would write a chapter. I don't think I'm going to do it for this chapter, but I left this in right here. I would have debates between, kind of like Plato's Republic, and a Platonic dialogue, if you will, the dialectic discussion, Socrates asking questions back and forth. So the skeptical reader person in the original version of the chapter will say, so what? And I say, well, it's a metabolic disaster, okay? You get all these things going in the wrong direction. You're just destroying brain cells. You're burning the candle at both ends, okay? You're sleep deprived and you're drinking caffeine. You don't want to do that. And a lot of people, that's how they are day after day, year after year, but they don't age well. Okay, they end up fat, sick, and stupid by in their 50s. Okay, excitotoxicity, this overstimulation of brain cells, like from the MSG, the MFG, and the psychological stress, and there's a whole bunch of other things that will do it as well. We're not going to get into all those today, but those will increase your rate of apoptosis. So brain cells have a metabolic rate and oxygen blood glucose delivery, and they should be coupled. They should be matched. Supply and demand should be matched. But if you increase that metabolic rate and you can't compensatorily increase your oxygen glucose delivery, and that gap gets too wide, these brain cells will start to die. So you could lose brain cells. All those things contribute to losing brain cells. Smoking tobacco, drinking alcohol, being super stressed out, drinking caffeine, they're all bad. Okay. And a lot of old people have a bunch of little micro strokes in their brain, and the brain tissue around those micro strokes is quite fragile. So you don't want to push your luck by these additional bad habits of excitotoxicity that'll destroy those brain cells. Okay, and the brain cells don't want to burn fat. So you're not going to have a happy brain. All this fat diet stuff's a bad idea. You can run on ketones, but in the long run, that's not a good strategy. Okay. I got a lot of stuff in here. I kind of mixed in excitotoxicity with stress, and I don't think I really want to do that. Okay, to lower your stress level, like I said, simplify your life, avoid all these toxic things and excitotoxins. Okay, there's where I had the pictures in the book. Here's the nice picture, filial piety of lowering stress with a good support system. Okay, talk about pans and sands. Okay, I think all this stuff is really getting a little repetitive, so I think I'm going to end it here for my lecture on stress. Okay, and giving this lecture helped me to kind of see where this chapter was going and how I got kind of repetitive, and now I'm going to start going into sleep, and I'll do that in a separate session. So anyways, I think I had about 6 parts there on stress. Hope you found that helpful.